I'd like to thank everybody for coming today. It's a lovely opportunity to remember. And I know you've come from far away and short distances, and I'm glad everybody made it okay. I'd like to thank Renee Charbonneau for putting all this together. She did a heck of a job. And that's pretty much all I have. Thank you very much.
Mayor Given, and I know that our Reeve isn't here yet, that she's unwell, and there's a gentleman from the county going to be speaking. But I want to thank all of our dignitaries for coming. Our mayor, of course, has been very instrumental in helping us get to this point, and I'd like to thank Mayor Given and council for their support for this project. I want to thank everyone that's driven from many hours away to arrive to this day. It's been a 2-year journey for me, and I'm just grateful to share this with all of you. Remembering our fallen is an important thing. A soldier dies the first time they're killed in battle, and they die when their name is forgotten. So today, we honor 158 fallen and their families and their sacrifice. And I thank you very much for coming, and I invite now Mayor Bill Given, our incumbent, on behalf of the City of Grande Prairie.
Thanks very much, Renee. It's a pleasure to be here on behalf of my council colleagues. I see Councillor Lauren Radburn, Councillor Kevin O'Toole, Councillor Chris Thiessen, and Councillor Jackie Clayton here as well. And I just want to offer City Council's thanks to the community for driving this, in particular, Renee, for your passion in ensuring that our community has the opportunity to remember the ongoing sacrifices that the members of the Canadian military make on behalf of all of us, on behalf of all of our communities. Often, when we come together, war and sacrifices that our military families make seem like they're something of the past. But the truth is, these are sacrifices that are being made today on behalf of all of us. And each and every one of us should take every opportunity that we can to recognize the service of people who defend our country, who defend our freedoms, and ensure that we can have the life that we all enjoy. So on behalf of City Council, thank you so much for this opportunity to participate, and thank you so much to the families that are here today to help us remember. Thank you.
I call now on the County of Grande Prairie.
Renee. Reeve sends her regrets. Unfortunately, she was unable to make it today. She has severe laryngitis. I could barely understand her on the phone when she asked me to take care of her duties. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is an honor to be here on behalf of the County of Grande Prairie today as we come together with the Army, Navy, Air Force Veterans Club, local military support clubs, Silver Cross families, dignitaries, and all other members of the community in remembrance of all those who have served in the war. Today, we are unveiling an important monument to pay special tribute to the 158 Canadian Armed Forces soldiers, as well as 4 memorials to the fallen members, Master Corporal Raymond Arndt, Corporal Zach McCormack, Corporal Joshua Baker, and Grande Prairie born and raised Master Corporal Timothy Wilson, who dedicated their lives to serving in the Afghanistan war. Having this ceremony over Thanksgiving weekend couldn't be more fitting. And what makes us feel even more honored is that the Silver Cross families have joined us over Thanksgiving to pay tribute to their fallen loved ones. Know that the fallen members will never be forgotten and will always be deeply respected and remembered for their courage, heroism, sacrifice to defend our nation. The County of Grande Prairie is especially proud to support the ANAVETS who have erected this monument. The monument will serve as a reminder to our community of the bravery and the deep sacrifice our soldiers, veterans, have made to protect the liberties, rights, freedoms, and way of life of our people and our nation. What makes this monument even more special is it represents our community's close ties to the Loyal Edmonton Regiment during World War II and to this day. We're especially proud to have the Army and Air Cadets program who have a relationship with the Loyal Edmonton Regiment. I want to thank the ANAVETS for organizing such an important, beautiful ceremony in honor of our Army and Navy members and veterans. I'd also like to thank the families of the fallen members, and also want to express my deepest gratitude to all the Army and Navy members and veterans for your courage, pride, determination, and dedication to serving our nation.
I would now ask that our MLA Wayne Drysdale come to speak.
Thank you and good afternoon, everyone. As the MLA for Grande Prairie Wapiti, I'm pleased to be here to bring greetings on behalf of all of my colleagues in the Alberta Legislature. And I want to thank the organizers and volunteers and participants for making this event happen, especially Renee. I appreciate all the efforts that have gone into creating this memorial dedicated to the mission in Afghanistan from 2001 to 2014. Which 40,000 Canadian soldiers served and 158 Canadian soldiers lost their lives. We owe a great deal of debt to all the men and women who lay down their lives for our freedom. It's important for us to show these heroes that their sacrifices were not made in vain, and that we honor them with gratitude for the service to Canada and to the world. We will remember them.
I now call on our MP, Chris Workington.
Thank you, friends and neighbors. It's a privilege for me to be here to join you in this ceremony as we come together to celebrate the lives of those whose lives were lost, but also to recognize the sacrifice that not only they and the men and women who went with them have paid, but also the sacrifice of the families who remain. Today we have an opportunity to recognize those who continue to live the sacrifice. And so on behalf of myself and my colleagues, we want to thank you, but on behalf of our community and Canadians, we thank the families who continue to live the sacrifice of those who died in war. We also want to remember that the loss was not in vain, that the scars were in fact not in vain. There are girls today that are going to school that wouldn't otherwise have ever had an opportunity to go to school. There's opportunity and freedom for people who would have never had opportunity and freedom. And so, as Canadians, the values that we love and that we cherish and that we hold dear, we thank the men and women who have taken, in our name, those values to some of the darkest and the hardest places in the world. So on behalf of myself and on behalf of my family, on behalf of our community, on behalf of all Canadians, we thank the family and the men and women the families of the men and women who were lost, and we thank the men and women who served as well. Let us never forget.
I call on Inspector John Ferguson.
Distinguished and honored guests, the friends and family of Master Corporal Raymond Arndt, Master Corporal Timothy Wilson, Corporal Zachary McCormack, Corporal Joshua Baker, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. First of all, I'd like to acknowledge my friend and co-worker, Inspector Shane Rathmall. It is our honor, on behalf of the RCMP in Alberta, to stand with you today as we pause to remember the sacrifice and faithful service of 158 Canadian soldiers, and in particular 4 members of the Canadian Armed Forces that have strong ties to Grande Prairie. As a grandson and son of career military men who have served in battles and peacekeeping missions around the world, I am very proud of their service, but I'm also very proud and have the utmost respect for all men and women who serve our country, particularly those that made the ultimate sacrifice. The RCMP has a proud military heritage, having served and supported our military in a number of campaigns throughout our country's history, including Afghanistan. Although we served in a different capacity in Afghanistan, we are very proud to serve alongside the members of our armed forces. In the course of their duties, soldiers face unpredictable and often dangerous situations. These situations require sound reasoning, quick judgment, confidence, and highly skilled responses. The soldiers we are honoring today consistently met these tests with courage and professionalism. Because of their work, Canadians and Albertans can go about their lives secure in the knowledge that someone is there to protect them, their homes, and the communities that we live. Today, we get to honor their dedication with the unveiling of this great monument. I am sure that this project is a culmination of years of hard work, and I want to congratulate everyone who had a hand in making it a reality. You should be very proud of this. This monument will stand in this community for years to come as a testimony to the symbol of our country and the city of Grande Prairie's significant contributions to helping achieve worldwide peace. To the families of those we honor today and those families elsewhere, all Albertans are and will forever remain deeply in your debt. Thank you to the Canadian Armed Forces and all those veterans alive today and those who have passed away. We respect your sacrifice to protect our values and express our gratitude for the freedoms that you helped preserve. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be part of this today, because it is something I'll always remember and always cherish. Thank you.
Deputy Fire Chief Janine C.A.V. Sorry, I can't say your name properly. Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of the Grande Prairie Fire Department, I'd like to express our sincere appreciation for the establishment of this Afghanistan War Memorial in our city. For those of us who stand here today, and those who will visit in the future, this monument will serve as an important reminder of the sacrifices made by Canadian soldiers so that others might have the same freedom and rights that we enjoy. We thank those who have served so courageously and mourn those who paid the ultimate price. We must never forget those who have helped to make the world a better place. Thank you. I would like now to call on Colonel Retired John Conrad.
Well, Silver Cross families and dignitaries here in front of me. Mr. President of the ANAVETS chapter here in beautiful Grande Prairie, Your Worship, and all the officials from various levels of government, thank you all for being here and for your kind words today. And of course, Deputy Fire Chief and Superintendent John Ferguson, wonderful words. And I would like to add my own couple of pieces to what has been already so eloquently laid down. I remember the monument in Afghanistan in 2005. I had the honor to lead some of our men and women there in 05, and again for 7 months in 06. It was the size of a boulder. And by the time we had moved the mission into Kandahar, into the heart of the fight in southern Afghanistan, we realized very early on that we were going to need something a lot larger than a boulder to commemorate and remember our fallen. And I look at these names, and I know we're going to unveil this gorgeous monument very soon, and I see military history in a completely different way. The men and women, the 158 names on this monument, some of them are friends, some of them were colleagues, some of them were my own soldiers. And it's very meaningful to my family that you've invited me here today. So I will keep my address short. I'm deeply appreciative. The monument's gorgeous. I already saw in the invite what it will look like when it is unveiled, and it's large. And we can never, ever forget that Canada led into southern Afghanistan at a dark time when you could not swing a dead cat and find another nation in NATO that would go into the south, with the exception of a handful. And the accomplishments of the Canadian Armed Forces and the country that we love and cherish was mammoth. The hand that we offered the Afghans and the Islamic Republic of Afghanistan was sincere, and it came with great sacrifice. And we will never, ever forget. And I am so pleased to see this gorgeous monument and the size and grandeur of it. I think it captures that sacrifice very, very well. Because it's not just the names on the monument. It's the husbands and the wives and the brothers and sisters and children and grandparents and the ripple effect through generations. Sacrifice is something that we all do, and I certainly know I don't need to tell this row of fine Canadians what that's all about. So, in conclusion, thanks very much. I'm deeply impressed by the turnout that Grande Prairie has shown, and just full of gratitude. So let's have a great day.
I now call on Sean Peterson to represent the PPCLI.
I'm Warrant Officer Sean Peterson. I'm from the regimental headquarters of PPCLI. We're based in Edmonton. I'm glad to be here for this particular event. I did also serve, still presently serving in the Canadian Armed Forces. And luckily where I'm at the headquarters now, I get a lot of opportunity to go to these kind of events. And it's, for some reason, it's not in the big cities that we do these events, it's in the grassroots. In 2006, you'll see the names come up. 4 of those names were in my platoon. We were serving in the battle group along with Master Corporal Wilson. He was also in our battle group. The 4 that are from my platoon that we visited go from Burjo, Newfoundland, which is right on the coast, has a very similar monument like this down at the grassroots like this, all the way to my medic, Boomer, we called him, Echo Boom, was also killed from my hometown in Comox, BC. So you're seeing these same things that you see happening here today, a lot more lately, which is nice to see. When I grew up as a kid on Vancouver Island, the only thing we had to relate to our country and to the things was the, when I first started going as a cadet back in the 70s, was we still had World War I vets. And then the older gentlemen became World War II vets, and some Korea vets, which we still have around. And slowly, things began to change, and in 2006 when we came back, I went to Red Deer with a friend of mine to a ceremony. I was invited down there, and the Legion was amazed. We actually had war veterans again in Red Deer, and the gentleman that I had escorted down there, he had lost a limb, had just turned 18 when we went to Afghanistan. It was interesting to see all the older gentlemen and the vets gathering around. The new vets who we had were just in their teenagers. So again, I saw this one when I was sent the invitation to come here. One of the best ones I've ever seen, actually, for this kind of venue. It's amazing.
The only thing I can relate to it is I seen the Vietnam War Memorial that was traveling around. I just seen it in Montana 2 weeks ago, and that's the nearest thing I'd see to being as nice as this one. Thanks.
We're now at a rather awkward part in the ceremony where I'm going to ask my dignitaries to stand so we can move the chairs. Council, my city council, the MP and MLA to help us unwrap this monument. And then I'm going to ask the Silver Cross families to come. The McCormacks, can I ask you to stand over here? And Joshua Baker's family, over there, please. Could I have retired Colonel Conrad take his place by Master Corporal Raymond Arndt? And Mr. Wilson, could I ask your family to take their place right here? And just before we unveil the monument, we have a very special gentleman who is going to say a few words. He is the commanding officer of the Loyal Edmonton Regiment, and his name is Lieutenant Colonel John McCauley.
Well, thank you for being here today, family, friends, citizens of Grande Prairie, family of the fallen, and honored guests. What a wonderful day to be here for such an important event. I'm honored to say a few words on behalf of the Loyal Edmonton Regiment. As you may know, we're here to witness the unveiling, which we're going to get to shortly, of the monument and the cornerstone plaques to our fallen soldiers. These plaques on the corners include three members of the Loyal Edmonton Regiment and a member from the citizens of Grande Prairie previously, Mr. Wilson. The Loyal Edmonton Regiment soldiers, Raymond Arndt, Joshua Baker, Zach McCormack, are soldiers that were known to me and persons I know personally. The monument itself serves many purposes. It gives a physical space and a tangible place for all of us to attend and observe and honor our service members and to reflect on our own individual losses. More than this, though, it affords this community as a whole a place to remember the sacrifices these soldiers have made in service of this great country. The monuments provide an ever-present reminder of the lasting connection between the terrible cost of war and the cost of our freedoms that we enjoy today. Finally, monuments such as this one right here provide a reminder of the depth of the community's historical connection and support and affiliation with the military in its service in this community. The Loyal Edmonton Regiment has a proud military history, a long history that involves the city of Grande Prairie. And as you may or may not be aware, the D Company Armouries and the D Company lines are still here. The physical building still exists. We have a very strong cadet corps here. They're formed up beautifully behind us right now. All this to say, the citizens of Grande Prairie are not strangers to service. They are not strangers to loss. And monuments such as this one serve to reinforce this community's lasting commitment to the defense of this nation and the unbroken kinship with the Loyal Edmonton Regiment. Today, the community has come together to create and dedicate this monument. It is fantastic and one that I believe truly honors the memory of our fallen. This space, this physical space, though, also gives my regiment a place to honor their fellow soldiers lost and to remind us all of the very high cost of war. These soldiers chose a life of service. These soldiers dedicated their life to service, and these soldiers lost their life to service. While they are gone from us, they are not forgotten. And in this space, for years to come, these citizens and these soldiers will receive our gratitude and immense pride. Thank you.
families to please unveil. I would now like to call on Barry Drews, National Sergeant at Arms for my motorcycle unit, the Canadian Army Veterans Motorcycle Units.
Hello everybody, my name is Barry Brutus Drews and I am the National Sergeant at Arms of the Canadian Army Veterans Motorcycle Units. First, I'd like to congratulate Renee and everybody involved on making this memorial monument a reality. The Canadian Army Veterans Motorcycle Units was officially founded in 2003 by Trapper Kane based on the principles of strength and honor. Since that day, the C.A.V. has grown to over 2,000 members in 84 units across this nation and overseas, with members currently serving in operations around the world. In July 2011, Canada's combat mission ended, and in March of 2014, the last Canadian soldiers returned home. As General Douglas MacArthur said, the soldier above all others prays for peace, for it is the soldier who must suffer and bear the deepest wounds and the scars of war. Those that fell were fathers, mothers, sons, daughters, brothers, and sisters. And today we have gathered here to show their families, the Memorial Cross recipients of this province, that they, as well as their loved ones, will never be forgotten. The Memorial Cross has been bestowed to the loved ones of Canadian Armed Forces personnel who died in service or whose death was attributed to their service since 1919. It is granted by the Government of Canada and is frequently referred to as the Silver Cross. In the past, it has been given to mothers and widows. However, today, a soldier may elect any living person of their choosing to be the recipient. The Memorial Cross is engraved with the name and service number of the soldier and can be worn by the recipient at any time. Together, with the help and support of all assembled today, we are showing the Silver Cross families of not only Alberta, but all of Canada, that their strength, courage, and ability to carry on are not forgotten, nor is the sacrifice of their loved one. These families are heroes as well. At this time, I'd like to call up Silver Cross parents Robin and Armand McCormack to present them with the Silver C.A.V. Silver Cross family crest, making them honorary members of 3rd C.A.V. The crests were commissioned for this event. I'd now like to call up Silver Cross family Darcia Arndt, but Darcia could not be here due to circumstances beyond her control. Accepting the crest on her behalf is retired Colonel John Conrad. I'd now like to call the Silver Cross family member Heather Middleton to present her with a C.A.V. plaque in gratitude for her family's ultimate sacrifice. And lastly, I'd like to present the Silver Cross family member Rod and Chris Wilson the C.A.V. plaque in gratitude of their family's ultimate sacrifice. Sergeant Chris Wilson could not be here today due to deployment. Accepting on his behalf is Rod Wilson. Thank you everyone for attending today's unveiling ceremony, and thank you Renee for giving me the honor of bringing the Silver Cross families of Alberta into the C.A.V. fold. Thank you.
I would like to call now on the Padre for the Loyal Edmonton Regiment.
Please join me in prayer according to your faith tradition. Almighty God, help us to remember that freedom does not automatically preserve itself, that we must work at it, nurture it, protect it, and pray for it. Let us ever be mindful that freedom needs our attention and our cooperation. Be with us now as we go about our daily lives, and let us never forget to reflect your loving kindness on all those with whom we meet. Amen.
I'd like to now observe 2 minutes of silence. And if we could now have the lament. Grateful heart that I thank you all for having come to attend our unveiling and dedication ceremony. I hope you'll take a few moments to look at the memorials, to read the names on this monument, and to never, ever forget that our freedom is not free. We have 158 families that have been torn apart by war, and it's a loving country that helps heal those families. And so today I ask you to fill your heart with love, embrace these families, and thank them for their sacrifice. Because although the soldier sacrifices, it's the family that enduringly sacrifices. I thank you all, and I have just a couple of housekeeping items. There is a community social inside of the community center, the ANAVETS Community Center, immediately following. And it's an opportunity for you to get to meet our Silver Cross families, members of the Loyal Edmonton Regiment, and our dignitaries. Again, thank you very much. Color Guard, could I have you at attention?